know by now, Harvey is having quite an impact on the price of gasoline because it's had quite an impact on the refineries along the South Texas coast. Look at that map. 6 major refiners have been shut down. Andy Lipow, who lives in Houston, is now living temporarily in New York, and he joins us this morning. Okay, here's what we've heard. The wholesale price of gasoline is up roughly 4.5–5%. That translates into a 10 to 15 cent per gallon rise at the pump for the rest of us. Now look to the future, please. We hear that the storm is moving towards Port Arthur, where there is a gigantic refinery, the Aramco refinery. What happens if that's shut down? What happens to the wholesale price of gas if that one shuts?
Well, we should expect that if the Beaumont-Port Arthur area is taken out, we're going to see an additional 10 cent a gallon rise in gasoline prices because the 4 refineries in that area account for another 8% of the nation's capacity. Okay,
so prices up maybe 20–25 cents a gallon. That's where you're looking at the moment. Is that correct?
That's right. In fact, we've already seen since a week ago the wholesale price of gasoline into the pipeline in Houston is up 30 cents a gallon.
Okay, so that's still to come for motorists at the pump a little way down the road. But what about the actual supply of it? Will we see gas stations in various parts of the country run out of gas?
Well, we might actually see that in the southeast and mid-Atlantic because those are the states that are supplied from the Gulf Coast. But if you're in New England, New York, or Pennsylvania, you really don't have to worry about supply because it's coming from other locations.
So it's the Carolinas, it's Georgia, it's those states right there, mid-Atlantic states primarily.
Exactly.
They're at risk because that's where the pipeline goes, from Houston directly to those states, correct?
That's right. So the Colonial Pipeline, which delivers about 2.3 million barrels a day of gasoline from Houston all the way up through Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. That's the one that we're concerned about. If we continue to get rain and those pump stations flood or they lose power, then there's just no supply of that system.
It would be understandable if you're a driver, a motorist, a car owner in those states to get out now and gas up. It would be understandable, would it not?
It certainly would, but I would not recommend it because right now those pipelines are operating, and so I think you should do what you would do normally.
Okay, wait a minute. That pipeline is operating.
It's still operating right now. It hasn't shut down. We've had another pipeline, the Magellan pipeline system, that feeds Dallas and Oklahoma and West Texas. That has shut down its Houston area grid. But the 2 other main trunk lines leaving Houston, they're still operating.
But they are under threat.
They are under threat. There is no doubt that if the weather forecast would prove right and we got another 16 inches of rain, then I would be particularly concerned